What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucker, man. Back with another video. But before I get into the topic at hand, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know. You can help the channel grow, man. I'll be getting thousands of views, you feel me, collectively, but it's only 100 and something subscribers. So niggas is watching, but y'all ain't taking the time, the 1 second to just hit that subscribe button, man. What's going on? But it's all good though, man. As long as you watching, hey, keep running them numbers up, man. Now, as you can see from the title, I'm about to get into this YNW Melly court case that I've been following since day one of the trial. I ain't never followed a trial like this ever in my life, except for maybe when I was young. I watched the O.J. Simpson shit because it was on national TV every day. But I've been watching all 8 hours of this trial daily. We on day 10. And here are my thoughts from what I've seen so far. So, yeah, man. We're going to have to crack one open for this, man, because it's a lot to unravel. Now, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. So there's a lot of information, a lot of shit that's going on with this fucking trial, man. And you know, I listen to YNW Melly. I think that he's a talented artist. You know what I'm saying? And I've drawn my own conclusion to if I think he's guilty or if I think he's innocent. And every time that the social media posts this, you got these delusional ass fans that no matter what, if he's innocent or guilty, they're just gonna be on his side no matter what. Some of them probably haven't even watched the trial. They're just, he's innocent, free Melly, you know, without watching the trial. But I've watched every single minute up to this point of this trial, you know what I'm saying? And we're at day 10. I believe the prosecution doesn't have probably any more witnesses, so it's gonna be time for his defense. Now, let's just go over the pros and cons so far in day 10, right? Now, I'm gonna go over the pros for Melly and I'm gonna go over the cons for Melly, and then I'm gonna give y'all my personal take from what I've seen and heard so far. Now, the first major thing, all right. The prosecution pulled his girlfriend's mama up on the stand, right? Hey, I'ma keep it a band with you. They thought they had them one. Hey, she kept it 1,000. Like, whatever check she's getting, hey, Melly needs to times that by 2, man. She kept it 1,000. You feel me? Like, she got up there and played her motherfucking role. Like, she acted like she couldn't remember a motherfucking thing. Like, and some of these things that I'm saying, you can go on YouTube and watch for yourself. Some of these clips, these Cliff Notes clips, I mean, in case you don't want to spend your whole day like I do, you know, I'm getting paid to watch this shit. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, man, she got up there. Every question that the prosecution asked, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. Even when the prosecution is pulling out emails, pulling out phone records, pulling out text messages that is from her. Hey, I don't know. I'm Ray Charles. I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't remember. I don't remember. Like, it had to be frustrating for the prosecution, who thought that they had them some sort of a witness, to get up there and that lady be on there saying, I don't remember shit. I don't know shit. I don't remember nothing. I don't remember. I don't recall. Even when the evidence is in her face, I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, she played the role. They can't find her daughter at all, you know, so his girlfriend didn't have to testify because she's, who knows? Even the mom says she don't know where her own daughter is at. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But hey, 1 point Melly, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, she kept it 1,000. Like, every question that they was hitting her with, every piece of evidence of her own shit that they was hitting her with, hey, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. Matter of fact, I feel threatened by you. Prosecution, that you're making me get up on the stand and say some shit. I'm saying whatever you want me to say. But other than that, I don't remember. So, hey, when I seen that shit, I'm like, ooh, hey, it's looking good for Melly right now, man, because they're trying to get him for the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? He got a co-defendant. They separated the cases, which is another point for Melly. If they had them both together, man, it might be a little bit more tougher on bruh, because some other evidence that we'll get into here in a second. But they separated the cases. He's getting tried first because he's the big name, but they're trying to charge him with the death penalty. But hey, you got to have reasonable doubt. But we'll get into another reason why, reasonable doubt and jury and all that other stuff can it's not as clear cut as it used to be. All right, it used to be I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, but in this case it doesn't have to be 12, and we'll get into that in a second. Right. Another thing, there was this cop that the prosecution got on the stand as an expert witness in gang testimony. They're trying to charge, or they're trying to put Melly into a gang. They're trying to say he's a part of the G Shine Bloods in Florida. Now, they did present their case with lots of text messages. Man, we must have watched like 2 hours, of whoever was watching it with me, like 2 or 3 hours of fucking text messages between him and the Bloods. They're trying to more or less recruit him to be to be a G Shine Blood. Now, that's all good because the defense can argue, which is in Melly's favor. We're talking about the pros for him, that he's ignoring these niggas. And it was some instances where in the text messages, they're kind of like getting mad at him because he ain't responding quick enough and all this other shit, right? But I'll get to the bad thing about that. But that's a good thing because the prosecution was like, look, man, they're trying to recruit him. He's ignoring these motherfuckers. But that's not what I'm getting at. They had this cop get on here, Danny Polo, I believe his name was, right? And he wore a fucking ski mask and one of those fucking, y'all call them Pooh Shiesty masks. I don't call it that shit. I call it a ski mask because niggas been rocking that shit. He was just the first person to make y'all niggas feel like nobody been rocking that shit. But I used to be a robber, nigga. We been wearing that shit. You feel me? Not only the ski mask, I'm talking about a ski mask. That's a real ski mask, not the motherfucking robber mask with the 2 eyes and the mouth in the middle. Like, that's a ski mask too, but we talking about a ski mask like the Pooh Shiesties, y'all say. You know what I'm saying? We've been seeing those, so I don't call it the Pooh Shiesty. I just call that shit a ski mask. Anyways, man, you know what I'm saying? He got on the stand and was wearing that shit, right? Which he stated that there's money on his head and he can't show his face and he's keeping his identity secret even though his name is out there, Danny Polo. He's testified in other cases like the XXX Tentacion case and other cases with this mask on. So the judge allowed it, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you get a juror, right? Here's another point for Melly, right? That says, hey, my anxiety is kicking in. You know what I'm saying? Like, please make him take off the mask. The judge is like, well, what's going on? She's like, I got robbed or something a long time ago, and it's bringing back old memories. Now, here's another point for Melly. The girl sounded young, and she sounded like she was either black or Latina. You feel me? Which works for him, because she probably is a fan herself and knows his music. And when I was hearing her talk and the fact that she got a problem with the prosecution's witness, she's not listening to nothing that he's saying. She's not worried about none of this evidence that they got on him. She's worried about this fucking mask. You know what I'm saying? So that's already one vote, Melly, right there. Not guilty, in my opinion. I believe that was a mistake, right? But let's get to it, right? So the next day, he testified for 2 days. So the next day, the prosecutor or the defense pulls out a motherfucking smoking barrel, right? They done found this nigga's picture on Cash App. The judge don't even know what the fuck Cash App is. They had to explain to him what Cash App is, right? So anyways, the prosecution, I don't know where they found this picture, but they found a picture that his wife had posted on her Cash App with the whole family, right? So they show him like, hey, is this you? Is this your wife? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, your picture's all over the internet now. Now, mind you, they got people all in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? His family, the victim's family, is cameras in there. So the judge said, oh, since your shit is already out there, guess what? Take the mask off. You know what I'm saying? They made him take the mask off, but they didn't never show his face on camera. But everybody in the courtroom could see his face. You know what I'm saying? Which could have been a bad thing, but it could have been a good thing. Now the defense was saying, hey, you can't see his facial features as he's giving the testimony. But I think they should have made him keep that mask on because it was already bothering one of the jurors. So you had that shit on your side. But anyways, they made him take that shit off. So that was another point. Hey, the motherfucking defense came out of left field with that gut shot when they showed that nigga the picture. You feel me? Like the whole courtroom was shook. You could hear people in there, you know what I'm saying? But so that's a good thing for Melly. All right. Another thing is when I started watching this trial, I was like, oh shit, he got one of these old ass white men as a judge. And nigga, you're going to prison, especially in Florida. It don't matter what. But as I'm watching this trial, the judge has been very fucking fair. Like this judge, this old white man has been very fair on both sides, especially when it comes to Melly's lawyers objecting every fucking thing in the book. Let me tell you this, man. Even no matter what, if they win or if they lose, Melly has got some top-notch fucking lawyers, man. Especially this black dude. I think his name is David something. But this guy right here, man, y'all always see the picture of the lady that he's always talking to. But no, this black dude that he's got on his fucking lawyer team is top notch. He's objecting every fucking thing in the book, everything, every question that the prosecution has, every witness that they objection. And the motherfucking judge is siding with him most of the time, like sustaining, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like he's got some top notch lawyers for sure. You know what I mean? Like they arguing every fucking piece of evidence. They've got a lot of shit thrown out. And that's what leads me to this next piece that's on his side, right? They're not playing any of his music in the courtroom. I think if they played that Murder on My Mind video, it might be a rap for him. It might be a rap just based on that. If they played any of his lyrics where he's talking about being a blood and all these blood references, hey, it might be a rap for him. It might have corroborated what Danny Polo, the masked motherfucking undercover police officer, had been trying to link him to these blood gang members. You know what I'm saying? Now, so he's got some top-notch lawyers who, like I said, came out of left field and made the nigga take off the mask, man. Like nobody expected that shit. So another thing is this prosecutor's fucking annoying. Like I think they picked the wrong people to try this case. Like whether she wins or whether she loses, she's not the right person who should have been trying this case, even if she gets a dub. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's fucking annoying. Even I'm annoyed with her. Even if I was the fucking juror, I'd be annoyed as fuck just based on her. Like, she's hella condescending. She's trying too much, even with her own witnesses. You know what I mean? She's just annoying. Like, I'm tired of hearing her fucking voice. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this shit is circumstantial evidence. Now, they have... You know, they have phone records. They have phone people who are connecting where their phones were hitting off of each tower. You know what I mean? But some of that shit is, his lawyers is kind of like weaseling through some of the shit. You know what I'm saying? So the first 8, and they have no DNA on Melly. You know what I'm saying? They have none of his DNA. They have video. This is what's damaging. They have video of him in the car, in the seat that they said that the bullets came from that hit his friends, right? Okay, so we'll get into that in a second. But so far, it's like a whole bunch of weak ass evidence, circumstantial evidence that you know that the prosecution is throwing out there. They can't use the music, so they ain't got that on their side. The mama got up there and was like, I don't remember shit. The fucking lawyers is objection, which is stopping the court process. Every 2 minutes, they're having to go have a sidebar or have a recess so they can argue what's going to be admitted, what's not going to be admitted. Like, this shit was looking bad for the prosecution the first 8 days. So I gave y'all all the pros. Now here's the cons. These last 2 days, day 9 and day 10, the prosecution has scored some wins. To me, in my eyes, if I'm a juror, I'm like, you know what? The first 8 days, I was on the prosecution, or I was on the defense side. But these last 2 days have been damaging as fuck. And let me tell you why. First off, before I get into that, this is what's working against Melly. All right. Now, some of this can be seen by the jury, and some of this hasn't been seen by the jury, but it's been all over social media. And that's his like his antics in the court. He's smiling, he's giggling, he's looking at his family, he's like chilling, he's acting like he's praying, he's doing all this. Now, some of this shit the jurors have seen, some of this shit, thankfully, the jurors have not seen. You know what I mean? Because the channel is showing the whole court case from the time that the judge comes in, Melly comes in, the lawyers come in, they have in their meeting, and then they bring the jury in. So, but we're watching all of this, but the jury is not. The jury is only seeing what they see when they come in. But some of this stuff is going on during and when they're out. You know, luckily most of it is going on when they're out. Otherwise, they might be like, man, this nigga is playing. He's yawning. He's acting like some of them days he was acting like he wasn't even giving a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, he was acting like, whatever, my lawyers got this. But, you know, but thankfully some of them times the jurors wasn't in the courtroom. So, you know, they got technology now. I'm sure they're getting way more information than if you had a fucking jury in the 90s where there wasn't so much technology and people couldn't text and people couldn't talk about the shit. Like, it's leaks going on, I'm sure. They're getting to see a little bit more than the average jury, you feel me, in 2023. Now, I will say this, right? In the last 2 days especially. Now, the first 8 days, right? They called up people, you know, days 6, 7, and 8. They called up people who were, the prosecution, I'm saying, was trying to pinpoint the fucking phone records and the pinpoint the location of where they were at each time to try to put them together. Okay, those was cool, but the defense was poking holes a little bit in that shit. Now, with Danny Polo, you know, the undercover mask agent, like I said, he was trying to tie these text messages to which the phone is listed under Melly's mom, but we know that motherfucking Melly was the one texting off of the fucking phone. Like, we ain't that fucking stupid, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, you know, but he was ignoring these niggas for a little bit, you know, and explaining to him like, bro, I'm doing shit. I'm this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. But the damaging thing is when they showed the pictures of him throwing up the gang signs and with some of these people who are in question of the text that the undercover cop was able to say, yeah, that's the person that's texting on this day. That's him and that's Melly. And they're both throwing up the gang signs. You know what I'm saying? So he's clearly trying to piece together that Melly is a part of the gang, which if I'm a juror and I'm watching this shit, I'm like, you know what? This nigga is trying to be a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely with the same people that's identified in those text messages that's throwing up the gang signs. So, and they also brought up the thing of false flagging, like how you cannot be like claiming a gang that you're not, especially when you're a celebrity. Somebody's going to check you on that shit. And there was a lot of text messages though. Even though he was trying to, you know, do his Dougie out of him, there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of dialogue between them gang members and him. It was 2 sets of G-Shine Bloods trying to recruit him, and he's texting both of them, you know what I'm saying? But what the defense is arguing is, well, that's not him saying that. That's other people are using the phone and woo. But the Danny Polo dude is breaking down each message, what they mean, what they're talking about, all that shit. And they got the pictures of him with some of these niggas throwing up the gang signs, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of damaging to me, you know what I mean? If they're trying to prove that he's in a gang. Anyways, another thing, as I talked about the 12 jurors, which is not in Melly's favor. You used to be able to have 12 jurors vote unanimously that you're guilty. If one person even said no, you can get acquitted or it'll be a hung jury or something like that. Now, DeSantis, the dude who's the governor, who's running for president, with shit, seeing some of his antics, he might even be worse than Trump. But anyways, he just passed a law that you only need 8 people. It only has to be an 8-4 vote for you to be found guilty. So it don't even have to be 12 people voting unanimously no more. All it takes is 8 people to say you're guilty. And he's done. Now, like I said, in the pros, there's at least one girl who had a problem with that juror or that witness that I think she's going to be on Melly's side. She sounded young and she sounded like she's either black or Latina. And I'm sure she knows who YNW Melly is because she's from Florida. She's from that area. Like, who doesn't know who this nigga is? You know what I'm saying? Especially after 4 years. They've heard about this fucking trial coming up. Like, come on now. You know what I mean? But if he's got 8 white folks on there or 8 old ass people who don't want to hear that shit, and they lucky they didn't play the music, hey man, all they need is 8-4 and you're done. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, another thing is this is the most damaging shit, right? Let's get in the meat and potatoes of the shit, because the last 2 days have been the most damaging for YNW Melly's case. The first 8 days, I'm like, shit, I think this nigga's gonna beat his shit. Matter of fact, I think he should beat this shit, because the prosecution isn't, for all the reasons why I said was pros for him, is the reason why if I was a juror up to day 8, I would have just been like, nah, not guilty, bro. Y'all, it ain't what you know or what you think. It's what you can prove. You can't prove none of this at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's circumstantial. Yeah, you got a couple cool points, but it's circumstantial still. We're talking about the death penalty here, right? So here comes day 9 and day 10. Today was day 10. And they brought up some motherfucking forensic experts. They brought up the coroner, the people who did the autopsies of both YNW Juvie, YNW Sack Chaser, right? These 2 ladies, it was 2 different ladies. And they showed the pictures of these dead bodies, the entry wounds and exit wounds of these 2 gentlemen, you know. And I think that shit was damaging, because these are people who are credible people who have done, this one lady says she's done over 800 autopsies. So she's a fucking pro at this shit. She's an old white lady too. And she ain't been doing this shit for 8 days. She's been doing this shit for like 20 years, did over 800 cases in every kind of fucking death that you can think of, right? So they have both of them up there. The defense couldn't really pick them too much apart, you know what I'm saying? But today was the most damaging, because they had this police officer up there who is the crime scene crime scene reconstruction expert, right? That's the motherfucker who's coming and telling you, bruh, they reconstructed the whole fucking crime scene. They got in suits and sat in each. They went through every single scenario. They was holding guns this way, that way, this way, that way. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know what I'm saying? That shit was damaging. That shit was damaging as fuck for YNW Melly. Like this dude has over 20 years he has about 20 years of police expertise, 11 in that division alone. You know what I'm saying? So he's a credible witness. They asked him how many times he's done this. He said approximately 800. You know what I mean? So he's seen it all. He listed all his credentials, all the types of murders he's covered, all the types of crime scene reconstruction he's done. And he pointed out a whole bunch of shit that corroborated what the autopsy ladies was saying. You know what I mean? And the prosecution or the defense tried to break him down, and he wasn't having none of it. Like I said, Melly's got some top-notch lawyers arguing shit, and this guy tried to break this police officer down every which way, and he would not sway. And he was telling the jury, there's no possible way that this bullets came from outside when they died. Yeah, they tried to reconstruct it. They tried to do it like it was a drive-by, but these dudes was already dead, and I'm going to show you why, through pictures and through me getting down. He even got down and was, performing the shit, and it was credible as fuck. Like, if I'm a juror, like I said, he had a good 8 days, but these last 2 days have been damaging. And now I'm like, you know what? You got to go with the science. You got to go with the science. And the science proves that, aside from him not having no DNA, which we can speculate here in a second, YNW Melly is guilty of killing his friends. Somebody killed them dudes in that car. Like, if you watch the pictures and you see how they reconstructed this shit and the bullet trajectories and all this shit to coincide with the autopsy lady's testimony, they got killed in that car. There was no drive-by. They staged that drive-by shit. There was no possible way. And I'm going to tell you why. You can't hide from science. You can find, they've been finding little holes here and there in the testimonies and in the phone records, and okay, all that is cool. But when you get down to forensics, you cannot outsmart forensics people who have been doing this shit for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And they're corroborating what the autopsy people say. It's not like he was on there, he did the autopsy and he did, no, bruh. It was 3 different people up there testifying who have degrees in this shit, who have field experience in this shit, over 30 years combined, maybe even 40 or 50 years combined in this shit. That's why shows like First 48 and even more forensic files are so popular. If you're not gonna believe forensics, then what is the use of having shows like Forensic Files? What is the purpose of even having forensics at all? If you're not going to believe the forensics that are proven. And at this point, that dude did a great fucking job. And like I said, the defense came back at him super hard, and he was not budging. And he told them people straight up, there's no way that these dudes got shot in a drive-by. These shots came from inside a car. I can't tell you who did it, but I can tell you this. Somebody killed them people inside the car. You know what I mean? And that was damaging as fuck. Now, like I said, we can play through some scenarios. YNW Melly didn't have any DNA on him. But who's to say that he got dropped off, because the Bortland, YMW Bortland, he's the one that drove to the hospital, and he was by himself. So, and this hasn't come up, or maybe I missed it. Why the fuck, where was Melly at? Why did he get dropped off? If y'all just got shot, who has time to go drop somebody off before you drive to the hospital? Your concern should be driving straight to the hospital and getting your friends if you just been hitting a drive-by. So, yeah, he didn't have any DNA on him, but he can go home and wash all that shit off. He had plenty of time that Bortland didn't to get rid of all his evidence. You feel me? And Bortland had gunshot residue on him. That's proven. That's DNA. They got all that shit on Bortland. So Bortland, YNW Melly might escape this shit, but Bortland's probably getting convicted of something. It's not looking bad or it's not looking good for Bortland. But like I said, they were smart by splitting these cases, because if they had them together, they're gonna have to be telling on each other or something. But here's another thing: YNW Melly's defense attorneys have been pointing the finger at Bortland on the low. They've been pointing a finger at Bortland on the low, like insinuating he was the one that did it. Like, my client wasn't there. These dudes got killed, but my client ain't the one that did it. And I even heard his defense attorney say there was no DNA evidence and there was no gunshot residue on Melly, but there was on the other guy. And I'm just thinking to myself, why is he throwing Buddy's homie under the bus like that? Like, this shit, he ain't even started trial yet. You feel me? So, but all that is cool. Who's to say that you can't clean up or you can't wipe down some shit before they stage that other shit? Who only them two know the real story. Even if Wyan, and then I thought about this, like, okay, yeah, Melly got in the car, they got that on tape, but who's to say that they wasn't driving down the road and he was like, hold on, man, let me drive real quick. You know what I mean? Like, you too twisted, let me drive real quick. And then he starts driving, and then the other nigga, Bortland, pops both of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But Melly still is in that car and he still knows about it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody killed them dudes inside that car, whether it be Melly or whether it be Bortland. But like I said, they only got the gunshot residue on Bortland and not Melly. But Melly had time to go clean up, and because he didn't go straight to the hospital with Bortland. So that's already sketchy right there. Like, why would y'all have, like, if you just got shot and your friends are dying, you're gonna have time to go drop somebody off before you go to the hospital? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's just sketchy as fuck. But anyways, if I'm going off of the forensic evidence in just the last 2 days, right? Me personally, and I'm a juror, YNW Melly is guilty, bro. And I hate to say it, I hope he beats his case, but it's not looking good for him. And I'm just thinking, like, who is the forensic experts, or what forensic experts are the defense going to call up there to refute everything that these other ones have said? Okay, yeah, they can call their own forensic experts up there, but they aren't as credible as the people who did the autopsies and who reconstructed the scene themselves. Those people are more credible because they seen all the evidence. They was actually there. They did all that. They're not just hired by the defense to defend Melly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we'll see how this plays out. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know, and you help the channel grow. And I'm out.